It's Talk Point again on Lagos Television. Nice to have you join us again. My name is Omololu Rosanwo. Today on Talk Point, we'll be looking at the readmission of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan by the Senate. Recall that 6 months back, she was suspended over some issue which has to do with seats within the National Assembly, specifically at the upper chamber, the Senate. And of course, that generated issues, comments from civil society organizations, from lawyers, from Nigerians, and of course, at the end of the day, she also took her case to the international community. Eventually, she had to come back to Nigeria to institute legal action. That's what we'll be looking at today, and because we know that she has also resumed, the Senate has unsealed her office after the 6 months expiration of that decision by the Senate on the floor of the House. Now we have her back at the Senate chamber of the National Assembly. That's what we'll be discussing today, and I have a guest in the studio. He is Elijah Ajanu Ojo. He is a civil society activist and a public affairs analyst. Elijah, nice to have you on Talk Point.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, from that introduction, the issue started some 6 months back. It's precisely around July. It started around July, and the Senate sat eventually, and she was said to have violated some Senate rules. Yes, and at the end of the day, the Senate agreed to suspend her pending when she'll probably apologize or do the needful by feeling remorseful. But she said she wasn't going to do that. At the end of the day, she was suspended, and that action was carried out. As we speak, she is back at the Senate. But let's go back, let's backtrack 6 months back. When it first happened, what was, how did you react?
Well, as a women's rights protection activist and enthusiast, when the allegation came up, what I expected the leadership of the Senate to do was to, first and foremost, if it were in a well-civilized society where democracy has thrived, has attained some enviable heights, the leadership of the Senate was expected to recuse himself from the matter so that it can be properly investigated and the truth will be made known to the world. But that wasn't what we experienced here. Senator Natasha was made the fall guy, or the fall girl this time around, the fall lady this time around, and she was intimidated, harassed, persecuted, and eventually she just had to step aside.
No, let's get this clear. When you say she was intimidated, harassed, what do you mean? Because yes, we're doing the record. Yes, because
quote and unquote, in the sense that when she rebuffed the directive of the Senate leader, the Senate president, that where the seat that she sat, she needed to make her contribution, but there were issues which were well known to us until that between them until that Ulabalu, came to the glare of the public, and then she, of course, being a woman, the way she would react to issue or approach issue is quite different from the way men, our society being a patriarchal society, would react to it. And when she came up with those allegations, those are, to me, they are staggering allegations. And she said she has evidence. Okay, the public, the court of opinion were them, okay, bring up your evidence. She said until she gets to the court of law before she can present the evidences that she has. But however, there were some that blah 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 when they went when the Senate went for a visit at the Senate President's house or thereabout in Calabar, that there were some overture from the Senate President towards her, even in the presence of the husband, and this and that. Then there was a fund transfer to her account, and from allegedly from the Senate President. And issues of sexual harassment, it's a very, very sensitive allegation. In the sense that at times the person who alleges may not even have a convincing evidence, because that is why advocates of women's representation will say that the fact that there is no conspicuous evidence from a survivor of an abuse or somebody that is supposedly harassed doesn't mean that there was no attempt or there wasn't an abuse in the first instance, because most times the evidence might not be, okay, now the deed wasn't done. It was just an attempted
Okay, from what we're seeing now, we can see that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has been readmitted. She has been accepted back after 6 months. We can see the visuals going on screen as we speak. Yes, that happened yesterday. She, with her supporters, eventually she got to her office, and of course before then, one of the sergeants at arms had unlocked or unsealed, let me put it that way, the seal that they put there. Now she's speaking. Let's listen to what she has to say. She's speaking on the issue. So let's hear.
Put the institutions to test. We can't cow down in the face of injustice. No one is more Nigerian than us. Senator Fabio is not more of a senator than I am. He's not a governor of this place. And he treated me as if I was his servant, or I was a domestic staff in his house. It's very unfortunate that at this time, after so many years of democracy, we would have a National Assembly be run by such dictatorship. It's totally unacceptable. As for me, I'm glad to be here. And even though we have been illegally suspended, no day have I hesitated in effectively carrying out my duties as a senator of Kogi Central to the very best of my capacity.
Yes, well, we just saw the senator there, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, representing Kogi Central at the National Assembly. She has resumed, and she still maintains a position that she was actually harassed, and that the Senate President, we're not sure why she's only targeting the Senate President, because I recall that the Senate sat down and it was agreed that she should be suspended. At that moment, Elijah, when that decision was taken, there were female senators there. There were equally male senators. And all of them said they saw what she did. And they all agreed that she needed to be suspended. So how come, if she did something right, how come the female senators did not stand in for her?
Well, without holding brief for Senator Natasha, one thing I realized with this part of the world is that it takes very few people to challenge established, conventions. I mean, to established practices, norms, and in any environment. For instance, when Dr. the former DG, the former DG of NAFDAC.
Okay. You want to tell me that the woman, the one that became a minister of information?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Dora Queen.
Dora Queen. She said when Yaradua became ill and his absence became very, conspicuous at the Federal Executive Council meetings, she was one of those that she initiated. She initiated the process of let us even make it known to the people that to the public that Mr. President is incapacitated for now.
At that
time, let the Vice President come on board. He said when he started meeting the ideas, his colleagues,
her colleagues,
her colleagues were against that. Some of them even told her that her thoughts were suicidal thoughts.
But how? You want to relate it to what is happening?
Yes. You see, in Nigeria, most time if an injustice does not happen to me directly, I may not feel concerned. I may not feel affected. I'm just like, it's none of my business. Until the day it, shocks me. That is when you're like, oh, so this is what it feels like. One would have expected Senator Natasha's colleagues to solidarize or to align with her defense, but some of them were not happy because she is a first timer and she was given one of the juicy portfolio as one of the allegedly.
Well, if you say that, what of the allegations she made against the Senate President, the sexual allegation, has there been evidence to that sexual allegation? Because if you want to present a case, you want people to solidarize or support you, you must have some proof. You must have. Now, she also said that there was threat to her life. Yes, the Nigerians would want proof to see actually if that is right or not. The case is in court. Yes, we don't want to delve into that. But why haven't we gotten the evidence up to this moment, even when she has to present the case in court? Because there is also a court case that will be coming up in October, precisely October 27.
Well, she will have a reason. Possibly, maybe she doesn't want evidence to be, out maneuvered or manipulated. So it could be her, the last joker, and she was like, okay, she will conceal it until when there is demand for it in the court of law. But I want to believe that she is not a pushover. She's a lawyer. So she knows that she should know her onions. I want to believe that at the appropriate time, those convincing evidence that she has, she will bring them before the court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay, why did she, let me ask this, why did she have to go international before now coming to Nigeria for justice? Because those are the issues. The international community have not been able to do anything. Now she had to come back to Nigeria to file a suit against the Senate President, against the Senate and everybody. Yes, why is it that she didn't take that approach first before going out of the country?
You see, at times when there is passive danger, there are some actions that are spontaneous. Fine, the approach may not be the best approach initially, or even eventually may not actually be the best, but there are actions that are spontaneous. You just needed to do something. She just needed to, escalate the issue so that the global community will sympathize with her, get to know what is going on and stuff like that. And even when the Senate President, goes out of the country, people who are sympathetic towards her cause or towards her, her ideals or even principle or lines of thought can align with her. You never can tell. The Senate President could be outside the country and you see people booing him. He will be embarrassed. And some people even tell him go and reinstate Senator Natasha and stuff like that. So what she did was just to raise an alarm that I'm in danger. Please come to my rescue. Of course, she may not get the best rescue she wants. But at least some people will definitely work with what she did now. Those who
Excuse me.
there are some people, there are some there are some citizens or even global community that does not even know who Natasha was, or they didn't know who Natasha was. But that, that global panic, panic mode alarm or sensitization brought people's attention to, oh, this is what is happening to Nigeria. And even ladies that are, or women that are coming behind her, they're like, oh, so this is some of the challenges that one could encounter if you are aiming to occupy political offices or elected offices in Nigeria.
The resumption at the Senate still shows that she's not remorseful. She must have her reasons for not being remorseful, and she's saying she's not apologetic to the Senate president. Our target is actually the Senate president, but the Senate is seeing it as a broader thing because it happened on the floor of the Senate, and decisions were taken, I think, sometime in July. Yes, not even the committee. It was agreed that they would see. Then they now went back and gave the committee, and the committee came up with that recommendation for suspension. She's back. Yes, and from what we just heard, that she said she has never for once stopped representing the people of Kogi Central, and that while she was away, she was still active. Yes, he was in touch with the people. Now, what I'm trying to say is, you are here now. You're talking that yes, the Senate, the Senator Akpoti Natasha may have been, her rights may have been trampled upon, but it was a collective thing agreed at the Senate. Could it be that the Senate president took over and said they must suspend her, which may not be right? So if it was a decision that was taken by the Senate, it is binding, you understand? So I want us to look at it from that angle. And what is your own reaction to this? Because it was a joint thing that was said. And now the 6 months is over. She has resumed officially. She needed to resume before now, but she was prevented from resuming because she went to court with the case. Now that 6 months is over, the Senate has unsealed the premises. Don't you think that the Senate too is saying, look, the decision we have taken, 6 months has elapsed, and you're back. So what else?
Well, initially, there was, I think she made an attempt sometimes ago to resume, and she was
prevented.
She was prevented from resuming. And now that she has resumed, even there was a time that I think there was a statement from the Senate that because the Senate has the matter is on appeal, that it is logical for the matter to run to its logical conclusion before she can resume, until some dissents raise their thought against her that no, that it shouldn't be. But since she has served the 6 months, let her resume. Some I can remember some civil rights organizations made statements, condemning that the initial step or decision of the Senate. And of course, it's a very good development that she has resumed now. Later, because while she was away, fine, she claimed that she has been very much active with her within her constituency and with her constituency. But how about her allowances and allocations for her constituency? How about that? So if the constituency has been deprived of that, then I don't think that we have the Senate as, treated those who voted for her well, because while she was away, the constituency that she represents were not adequately represented in the Senate. So the Senate is expected to, even the certified true copy of the judgment that urged the Senate to probably repeal their rules, so that when you are even scolding or trying to to call your colleague who has violated some rules to order. You don't trample on the rights of those who have elected him or her to represent them, because that is, without them, they wouldn't have been her. So while you are trying to correct her, put the interest of the larger constituency that she represents into focus, so that we don't end up taking a step forward and two steps backward.
Let me quickly take you up on that. This question I'm going to ask you will probably be rounding up whatever we're doing here tonight and today. What are you advising her to do now? Because you have just said something now. She should also find a way of ensuring peace so that the people that voted for her can also feel a representation. Now, what advice do you have for her, and what advice do you have for the Senate at this moment as we round up?
If I have my way, I would advise that these issues of them, even that even a court can be settled out of court, they can resolve this issue, out of court. Concede, okay, give this, give that. Okay, I can't give this, this is what I can give, so that there could be a way forward. Because it is those who vote for them that suffers. There's this saying that says that when two elephants fight, it is the grass that bears the brunt that suffers. So, fine, we've had some losses in the past, but we must be able to, even if you go to war, at the end of the day, you still sit down at the table of brotherhood and dialogue, Jojo, so that there will be a way forward. So that is my advice for my beloved senator and the leadership of the Senate.
Yes, I want to thank you, Elijah Ajanu Ojo, for being part of Talk Point. I know that you have given them advice, and we expect that advice will be taken. That decision lies with those parties involved. Exactly. But what we can only do here is to further find a way of shaping the society so that the masses do not suffer. I want to thank you so much, Elijah Ajanu, a civil society activist, for being part of Talk Point today on Lagos Television. Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 are still the lines for this call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure you contribute your own quota to the development of Lagos State and indeed Nigeria, so that everything can go on smoothly. Till I see you again next week, I am Omololu Rosanwo saying bye-bye.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.